What do we love about horses? Their energy and vitality. If you feel like you've been missing that in your life, you're in luck. The Lunar New Year starts today, and it's a horse year, galloping in full of change and forward momentum. We're learning all about it with two members of UVM's Asian Student Union today on Across the Fence. Hello, Vermont, and happy Lunar New Year. Also, shout out to Em. That was that amazing horse that you just saw. She was incredible. Anyway, you probably know your Western zodiac sign. I'm a Sagittarius, for example. But do you know your Chinese zodiac sign? Here comes your crash course. Unlike the Western zodiac that aligns with a 12-month cycle, the Chinese zodiac spans 12 years, and each year is represented by a different animal. The zodiac you're born in says a lot about you. For example, I'm an ox, which makes me, supposedly, hardworking and down to earth. Pretty cool. But the year's animal also defines the year itself. Like this year, a horse year, associated with taking risks and achieving personal milestones. Got all that? Good, because there will be a quiz later. I'm kidding. But if there was, the takeaway would be that Lunar New Year is a time of great celebration, saying goodbye, maybe good riddance, to the old year and hello to the new. Joining me to celebrate and explore Lunar New Year today are Margaret Almodovar and Stephen Shi, the President and Vice President of UVM's Asian Student Union. Marg and Stephen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much for
so
having
happy
us.
to see you guys again because
Yeah.
we actually celebrated Lunar New Year together a few days ago. We'll talk about that in a minute, but Happy New Year. And, okay, good first question. What is the traditional greeting to say, to acknowledge people on Lunar New Year?
Yeah, so traditionally people would say 新年快乐, which is a direct translation of just Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, okay.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And then there's a lot of other wishes that people might say. So 恭喜发财 is like one of them. And that basically means like congratulations on like good fortune. Or we have 万事如意, which means like may all your wishes be fulfilled.
Those are all very good. The closest I think I'm going to try to say is, this is the one that my mom used to say, because my mom, who was a high school home economics teacher, used to like to celebrate this with her students. So gong hai fat choi?
Yeah.
Pretty okay?
That's great.
Not too bad, okay. I mentioned that the Chinese zodiac, or I mentioned the Chinese zodiac, but today we're also we're talking about Lunar New Year. So what's the difference? Is there a difference between Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year?
Well, Lunar New Year is the umbrella term. Like Chinese New Year falls under it, and because Lunar is celebrated in many different countries.
Yeah.
So that's usually the right way to say it.
So by saying Lunar New Year, we're being more inclusive and we're
Yes.
acknowledging the fact that across Asia, that there are many different cultures that celebrate the Lunar New Year?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And so where are some places that Lunar New Year is celebrated?
Yeah, totally. So a lot of like Southeast and East Asian countries will celebrate Lunar New Year. So that includes like China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, sometimes the Philippines.
Okay.
And
Yeah. In the Philippines, they celebrate it in the Chinatown in the capital in Manila, but it's not really like a nationwide celebration there, which is why I didn't really celebrate it growing up.
Because this is your background.
Yeah, because I'm Filipino. Yes.
Okay. But you did grow up celebrating
Correct,
Chinese New Year.
yeah, so-
When you grew up, did you think about it as Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year?
To be honest, I grew up like thinking about it as Chinese New Year. For those of you that don't know, I'm Chinese, and so I was born in New York, but I grew up living with my grandparents in China for a little bit, and so that was like Chinese New Year was kind of like the main holiday that we would celebrate, and we spent a lot of time just with family and celebrating it. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Okay. Well, thanks to the hard work of the Asian Student Union at UVM, Lunar New Year is also celebrated right here in Vermont. Or I should say, as I mentioned, ASU celebrated Lunar New Year on February 1st with a huge party at the Davis Center at UVM. They took us behind the scenes as they put the event together. Let's take a look.
Hi vlog! We're making crab rangoon!
Like just like scrape it, you know, like that full scoop.
Say hi! So locked. It is 8 a.m. Good morning.
Hello ASU Nation. Look at this chai cookie dough already made. our great cooketeers over here, Kaylee Pham, Elha, our VP Steven, good supervisor. And then look at our lovely FYOs working so hard. Look at all this prepped bok choy. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Hey guys, so it is Lunar right now. Well, very soon. The celebration is very soon. And we are still doing dress rehearsal. This is Tycho. We got that up. Are you guys excited?
So excited.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes? Okay, so we'll see how the night goes.
Okay, well, I was there and it was, like I said, it was pretty amazing. The cookies were to die for. Pretty good. I think I ate all 3 of my cookies out of the bag, like in one sitting. I was like, I'm just gonna have a bite. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna chow. It was really great. Well, the party incorporated elements and tastes from a bunch of different Asian cultures. Talk to us about putting it together.
So a lot of the planning came from keeping up with the traditions from the last few ASU Lunar New Year celebrations, but we do surround all the decor based on what year it is. So this year it's the year of the horse. So a lot of the decorations were horse-based, and we like to be inclusive. So we celebrate with not just Chinese cuisine, but we also had mango lassi, for example.
Yeah.
Also, we had many different dances that, again, weren't just traditional Chinese dances. We had
Because this you have to. There was a huge buffet of food,
Yes.
and this gorgeous ballroom all set up, and then that you could see there was a dance floor in the center. And after people had gone and gotten their meals, then there were all of these different musical routines and dance numbers that happened as well. Yeah, talk a little bit about incorporating some of those elements.
So we had UVM's Bollywood dance team Jazzba perform.
They were great.
Taiko.
The taiko drummers, yes,
drumming.
that was very exciting. I mean, very stirring. It
Fan
was
favorite
great.
like opener for
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
yeah. You danced.
Oh yeah, the Cat Out Dance Crew
Yep.
is hip hop dance group.
We had Sasha Sriracha, who is a local Asian drag queen. Also a fan favorite as
Yep,
well.
definitely a fan
good
favorite.
closer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stellaris, the K-pop dance group from
Yeah.
St. Mike's.
We have Annika.
Oh yes,
Super incredibly talented dancer.
Was she the one who performed the dance?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
solo, yeah.
Yes, I mean, basically, it was a really beautiful evening, and it had this great energy because I thought something that was really impressive to me was each time there was a different act that was going to appear, a different member of ASU would stand up and they would do an introduction, but also people were talking about ASU and about why being a part of the club was so important to them. Talk a little bit about what ASU does for students.
Well, the Asian Student Union is an identity group at UVM, and it's to create a community for Asian students or any students, but it's helped me find a place in a predominantly white institution. And I've met all my best friends there. I learned to be a leader as president, and I really hope that we make more people proud of being Asian, and hopefully we find more leaders to keep up the ASU tradition.
Definitely.
Yeah. Why was it important for you to get involved?
I would say, kind of similarly to Marg said, it's a great place to sort of like find your community. For me, I come from like a very diverse background, so coming here in Burlington, it was nice to still find that community here. And
Burlington and Queens look different.
it sure does. But yeah, like Marg said, I've met some of my closest friends at ASU, and it really is just something to look forward to each week. For those of you that like don't know, like we do like weekly meetings, but we still have like larger events. So it's something to just kind of like look forward to.
There you go. That was a plug. If there's students watching and you're thinking you want to know more about this club, you might want to check it out. Well, okay, now talk to me a little bit about like a Lunar New Year celebration. So you grew up celebrating.
Correct.
What are the elements? Like what should a lunar, what's a lunar celebration all about?
Definitely. So Lunar New Year is pretty much celebrating the arrival of the spring and the new year. We follow like the lunar calendar. So it's a little different from our usual calendar.
It's also a little ahead of spring.
It is.
Yes.
It is coming. But it's a 15-day celebration. Usually you start the celebration off on New Year's Eve, which is when you host like the big family gathering.
Which is tonight. The 17th.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And you would have like a big family gathering with a whole bunch of food, and food holds a lot of significance. So for example, usually there's like a centerpiece with a whole fish that signifies like abundance. We have a lot of like different vegetables and meats. We have a dessert called niangao, which is like a sticky glutinous like rice cake. And that there's a lot of wordplay in the Chinese language. So niangao also sounds like a higher or better year. So that's like, it brings good fortune and good luck.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, and then you wrap up the celebration 15 days later with the Lantern Festival. And traditionally that's when families and children will go walking around the neighborhood at night holding lanterns. And they'll do like fireworks, and sort of just like everyone is hanging out outside.
It's beautiful. And it really is important. It's also about bringing family together.
100%.
Like people will travel. It's kind of like people in the States will go to see family for Thanksgiving.
Correct.
To bring the whole family together. So if people wanted to celebrate Lunar New Year tonight at home, what would be some things that they could do? What are some things that folks could do at home tonight?
Like spending time with family, loved ones.
Yeah, it's very big on just sort of like spending time with your loved ones, preparing like a nice dinner if you can. But yeah,
maybe you can look up the zodiac. You can like read your fortunes for the year, maybe, right? Because I think your fortune also for a year might shift and change depending upon whatever your own sign is. So like my ox sign and a horse year kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And wear red.
Wear red.
Right.
Red envelopes is given usually from like the older generations to the children of the family, signifying good luck, but only after they wish the elderlies like a good fortune for the new year. Yeah.
So be very respectful to your elders,
Definitely.
and maybe possibly you get a little gift.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so there's some really wonderful elements here. It sounds like people at home could incorporate some of these things tonight. I want to say thank you both to coming today and talking with us and help teaching us a little bit more about it. Final thoughts very quickly from each of you. Do you have any aspirations for the Year of the Horse? Because this is supposed to be about like accomplishing your goals. Quick. What's yours?
Passing the NCLEX.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Marg and I are both senior nursing majors, so it's kind of the next step into our post-grad life.
Okay, well, I am wishing you all of the energy and the luck of the horse year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, all right. So Marg and Stephen, thank you for joining me today. And as always, thank you, Vermont, for learning and exploring with me today. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.